And we're back. OBS crashed on top of like music with the previous audio issues. Both have now been solved, so we will be actually starting the game.
It's coming! Jones's cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited breathlessly in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. "Look well, Wilson," Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. "For this is the diabolical hound of the Baskervilles."
All I will say is, Rios like, yes, that is an actual Sherlock Holmes story. Right. Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. In a disconcerting cultural experience, we were first thrown on the day we arrived in the country. And in Saseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court. This is hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. April 15th, 9:13 a.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Ignore that. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Yes? Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see. What case is it today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I? Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast. But I think Iris said she would make us. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So shall we go down to Mr. Holmes' suite? Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today? Here we go again. I suppose Soseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away. A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? I was just wondering, what might have become of Soseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all. You mean, as regards Lord Bansix, the Reaper? Yes, I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but you're not gonna get away with that one this time, Susato-san. Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. It was just a boring old telegram. That's 3 times now that he tried and failed to convince me it was nothing. I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? Like the way that Nightmare's trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yes, but at least Soseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means that the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps. Even if that's the case, it's a little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding. If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself. Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted dependents. No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Bansix hasn't appeared in court since our last encounter. Oh? Yes, since Soseki-san's trial, he's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court for Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So it's just been me who's had to face him in his recent spate of trials then. Just my luck. I wonder if luck doesn't come into it. Sorry, what was that? Oh, nothing. Never mind. Okay, let's examine. It's spring at last, and the weather is warmer now. But I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Oh, would you like some tea, Naruhodo-san? Thank you, Susato-san, but I'm alright for now. With the green tea Susato-san makes from time to time and Iris's unique herbal infusions, this place is paradise for a true tea lover. Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment to British tea cakes, don't you think? That spade has been in here since we started renting the place. Oh, that's not a spade, Naruhodo-san. It's a shovel. No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel. I don't want to dig a hole for myself, so let's leave it. Check the window, there's nothing. So this tea set that Susato-san brought with her from Japan. Let's hope she hasn't noticed me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it. It's just so bitter. Tea is a drink to be enjoyed, Naruhodo-san. You really don't have to force yourself to drink it, you know. I don't like to see you screw up your face so. That as he closed it. Ah, the Dharma doll I brought with me from home. Still with only one eye colored in. I said I colored the other eye once I won my first court case here in prison, but you have one, haven't you? Twice, in fact. Because I feel as though I'm still lacking as a lawyer. I tell you what, why don't you color the other eye in once you think I'm a proper fully fledged lawyer? If you insist. We've only been here in London for about 2 months, but my desk is starting to look a little messy already. You could tidy up once in a while. Susato-san, I always say, making a mess is a small sacrifice to pay for being able to further your studies. And time spent tidying up is time you can't devote to the same cause. And time spent on ridiculous arguments is time that could be better spent on some simple housework. She wins, but I'm supposed to be the lawyer here. Right. This one. Ah! This must be the telegram. Let's see. Ah! No! You mustn't look at that. Not under any circumstances. Alright, I won't. I'm sorry, Naruto-san, but you can be very mischievous at times. Then put the telegram away if you don't want people to look at it. You are rather lucky to find that old aquarium left behind here. The prawns you put in there are doing rather well, and the anemones too. It's a wonderful invention, isn't it? The sea, behind glass, inside your room. Another example of Great Britain's greatness. Having to clean it out and change the water isn't so great though, is it? Do you know, I never seen inside your room there, Susato-san. I never even peeped inside. I should think so too. A young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know. Whatever you say, young maiden. Right, so I think that's everything we have in this, like, area. So we're gonna go. Let's go to the next area then. let's check our court record. So we have our armband and Sato, Sherlock, and Iris. Holmes is sweet. Morning, Runo. Morning, Susie. Good morning, Iris. Oh no, Sherlock's playing the violin. Iris. What is it, Runo? What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled. Ah, yes. You noticed that, didn't you? What's annoying though is that in the actual Sherlock, like, you know, stories, like in stuff, Sherlock's actually good at violence, so this is annoying. Oh wait, never mind. Shirley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems. Hello. Hello, Mr. Holmes. Good morning. Good morning to die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Holmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Damn this bland existence. That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, is it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Oh look, it's Wagahai. Good morning, boy. That must be some sort of tiny door percast to use. But how did it get there? Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris. Oh, it would indeed be a fine day to die. Ah, I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Holmes' desk. The fire's burning comfortably in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow. Oh, look at that photographic print of a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting. Is that supposed to mean something to me? The woman. But see, like, there's like many women, like female characters in Chronicles. The female could refer to, like, you know, Irene Adler, or, you know, the landlady, and, like, you know, Holmes is like, you know, apartment. It looks like that used metal chest is being used as a table for tea and coffee. Seems very sturdy, with an equally sturdy lock. Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't go around opening things. I always have to keep an eye on you, don't I? You're very mischievous. How did you come to that conclusion? These are all mementos of Mr. Holmes' past case, I think. If he'd been involved in my case, I wondered if the beef steak from La Carnival would be on display here. A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing men, a bust of Napoleon. Ah, what an entrancing collection! Looks like an untidy assortment of junk to me, rather than like what's on my own shelves. Well, you really ought to learn to keep your things in order, Miss Naruhodo. No favoritism there at all. Iris's beautiful tea set is there on the table as usual. A cup of tea and our special herbal blends always helps me to relax when I'm feeling strained. The English pastime of tea has many similarities with our own tea ceremony customs, don't you think? It's the idea of hospitality behind it. That's the essence of tea. This is where Iris notes down ideas, isn't it? Let's see, what does it say today? Ah, the Baskerville Valley Mystery. Oh, how intriguing! It must be the title of Iris's latest work. Oh my! I wonder what fantastic tale awaits us. Susato-san looks like an angel, but I bet she's dreaming of the most unsavory crime you could imagine. There's a charming little white shop, and full of charming little balls too. But the contents of them aren't quite so charming, it seems. Science is the future, Miss Naruhodo. You can't deny it. I'm saving my money so that I can buy some chemistry apparatus as well. Law, chemistry, takedown throws. What diverse skills you boast, Mrs. Sato. As useful as they are, I'm not sure that my throwing skills are worthy of inclusion in that list. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing recently. But there's paper already set up in the typewriter. Look, as if she's about to start. That reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel, Mr. Natsume was most impressed. Ah, yes, Mr. Natsume. That's what I'll be doing too, once I'm back in Japan, he said, to tightly clench fists and teeth. Right, now we go to the other side. There's all sorts of these shelves, chemistry apparatus, books, papers, lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high, I can't have a feeling that the whole lot's got toppled at any moment. Look at Mr. Holmes' desk, it's completely clear. Is that enormous machine usually on it? We can never hope to understand what goes on in the great detective's mind, Miss Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite. That's scarily plausible, actually. Right, let me just save here. Let's talk to Iris. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then. Oh yes, and I've become very attached to little Waggy. It would appear his previous owners completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their muse are as empty as the house to the muses. If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place. I expect he would have taken him if he could, but pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience. And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable. Yes, he really is. Oh, yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from? Oh, you notice? You're very observant now, Runo. Look, I used this. It's my latest invention. What is that? I call it the cat plapomat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right! It can make a cat clap for a very little friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do it at any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see. Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap? Well, yes, maybe. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris. She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. Hehe. Right, I guess we're talking to Holmes now. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Holmes. What's happened? It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its medicine tones would make flowers bloom. It would. But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Holmes? For hours, I bowed, for days even, to the night heaven endowed to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliance, clear unwavering tone, gone forever, no more recitals of unbridled emotion. Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Shelley? Don't worry, I'm sure it will come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The gods of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man, the next they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh dear. Why is this happening to me? They take the turn I have a violin in me. What's left, for pity's sake? What is left? Deduction perhaps? Is that what you're known for? Mr. Holmes, I don't like to fry, but... your desk looks rather empty today. Well done, Mr. Sato. Your observational skills do you credit. Oh, no, Mr. Holmes. They pale into insignificance when compared to yours. You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you? You mean Shelley's great analytoscope? That's at Windybank's now. Sorry? Is that Windybank? No, Windybanks. The pawnbrokery. Pawn what? You mean you pawned the enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see? Quite undeservingly. But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I shall gladly pass what little income I have to you. Dear madam, things are far from desperate. But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate? Making use of a pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh. What do you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks. Banks? On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily to the weak. And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London. And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to fawn, should the need arise. Oh, how ingenious. So whenever we had something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windybanks, you see. Pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. We have thought that even pawnbrokers were different here in Great Britain. Of course, you had to watch Shirley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Shirley? What does it matter? The word is dead to me now. Oh, what was that? Wagahai? What was that? Oh no! Wagahai's tangled up your violin! I think he thinks it's a toy. No! What's he doing to it? Oh dear, Mr. Holmes' precious violin. Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. The cat is a more accomplished musician than me. Mr. Holmes really is in a poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives, shall I, Shelley? Out the cat's reach, if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. And now it's there. So there's the violin, is it? It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. Doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you. And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there a reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this bland existence? No! There is none! Mr. Holmes. What, dear madame? What? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? What do you mean, Mr. Sato? Oh, Susie's right. Yes, the tone of the wood is completely different. That's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before. Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this? Right, hang on. I'm just gonna get something. I'll be right in a moment. I am back. Had to get them snacks because I was feeling a bit hungry. I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Holmes, but that that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola. Ew. Oh no, it's a viola. What? What? You're right. You're quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what, pray, is this piece of string flotsam? Not your faithful performing partner, then. Ah, I see what must have happened. You do, Iris? This is just a simple mix-up. What did you mean by a mix-up, Iris? Well, you see, this viola, I mean, was at Windybank's until last week. Ah, at the pawnbroker's? Not Mr. Holmes' beloved musical partner. There's a proverb from the East with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel. Yes, indeed. So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth? Oh, what a wonderful idea! Last week, I found my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. It appears Mr. Windybank mistakenly furnished me with his tawdry fiddle instead. Before anyone asks, like, yes, like, you know, violas sound very different from violins, and as like they sound different from, like, you know, cellos or, like, you know, any other string instrument. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. So, a fine state of affairs this is. Why I always say, Miss Naruto, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time. But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault. Come, Miss Naruto. Dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Cutting your toes to that bacon aspect? Pressing your coffee so obtusely? Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with this face? You must visit Mr. Windybank's broker at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Holmes? Precisely, Mr. Sato. Without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, so you don't still intend to cross your bacon when it's really bacon aspect? To press your egg every more obtusely. Alright, say no more, let's go then. Don't worry, Reno. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later. Oh, thank you, Iris. Right, so I guess we're moving now. You could go straight ahead, but I'd rather we move on to like... It could go Prince like, do it immediately, or no, we'll go with Baker Street. I want to see Baker Street anyways. Right, examine. Look at all the different things in the window of this shop. Ah, that's Windybank's, the pawnbrokery. Looks much smarter than the pawnbrokers in Japan, doesn't it? Yes, you're right. I find pawn shops at home rather inapproachable, personally. Reminds me of tearfully parting my favorite fountain pen. I felt so miserable. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Mr. Nahodo. I'm not singing the song. And here's 221B Baker Street. It's already been 2 months since we started taking lodging share about Mr. Holmes' office. I still can't quite believe it. Never expected things would turn out like this. Fun fact, 221 Baker Street, the building itself is actually like 3 floors, not including the attic. So if it includes the attic, it's 4 floors in total. The first floor was where like the landlady, like I still don't remember the name, stayed. The second floor was Holmes and Watson, and third floor was someone else. Oh, I know. To actually be saying accommodation with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself in a court of law now, I will have not one regret. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'd be happy to defend you, of course. I guess that's it. In April, Windybank's pawnbrokery. So this is a British pawnbrokery. Oh my! There are all sorts of tools and contraptions around here I've never set my eyes on before. Ah, Susato-san. And that spark of wonder in your eyes, you can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? I get the impression you enjoy places like this. Oh yes! I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me. My dear fellows, let's not forget why we are here. Oh, Mr. Holmes. We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure. And clearly Mr. Holmes means business too, judging by the spark of fury in his eyes. Ah, Mr. Holmes, sir. Welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome? Well, yes, we are potential customers after all. We are disgruntled customers, it's now heard of, and signed to inform Mr. Winterbank of our ire. Come, the fight is afoot. Let me examine first. Oh, never mind. What are you doing, my dear fellows? We are not here to browse for interesting curios. We are come to teach this broker a lesson. Oh, but there's just so many fascinating items. So we have to talk to Mr. Winterbank first before we can explore in here, Sato. Naturally, you'll recall this which I had retrieved from you some days ago. Yes? This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Winterbank. The color of the wood is different, it has holes in it, it's not even the same size. A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Holmes. I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An excusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There's only one way to make amends. I shall have to take my own life. I don't think that will be necessary, do you? If I may just say one thing before I pop off. Ah, yes. It was you, sir, Mr. Holmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry? As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, ah, here it is. You did? And when I had turned to controvert you, you had taken the bill and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble and grouse any longer. May this girl die with me. No. Stop, my dear fellow. The fault is mine. Phew. It would appear that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Winterbank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Sherlock Holmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? Aha, I do believe you may be right, sir! Either laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I need to remind you of the peculiar collection of items you brought through my door in the past. Oh, peculiar items? The unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work. The novels of Sherlock Holmes or some such. Oh my! A new full-fledged novel? And unpublished? A story I have yet to read, you mean? Ah, forgive me. Wait, before you die, you must tell me more. I must know more. Tell me everything. Well, one day the gentleman here brought an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Winterbank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir. Not a farthing more. It has something of very great value indeed. The latest manuscript recounting the adventures of one Sherlock Holmes. I beg your pardon? A manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And that was right. I thought Mr. Holmes' tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storebook. Mr. Holmes, is it really true? I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely. Sir, of course. It's safe and sound with me, I assure you. On my life. It is all very strange. I wonder, could I ask you something? Ah, a gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull. Sorry. Aha, but for your splendid attire, ma'am. 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design, exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say. Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting. Why do I feel as though I've suffered some defeat here? Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I heard it said that pawnbrokers are used rather like banks here in London. Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you described. I have raised their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure stowage. If in that time they repay the residual sum to me, plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned. But what happens if they don't pay you the money? Then the items are offered for sale in my shop. And the battery's dead, isn't it? Oh, for damn it. It hasn't even been an hour yet. It's gonna be annoying because I have it connected to, like, you know, the console itself. It's like, so what's annoying here is that I have to feel like, you know, stretch and feels like, you know, press the buttons now for this. Nope, it's not letting me connect either. God fuck that. Damn it, it won't. Okay, apparently I can't really do it like this. This is annoying because like I need to continue, but no, to help invest in a pro controller. Right, we're gonna have to cut it here then, because like I can't continue like this. How annoying. Anyways, we'll be continuing this again next Sunday. Preferably longer and this not happening. I'll see you all again next time.